Okay, so for today, we are doing the build. And thankfully, the build has a much more forgiving work-rest ratio. But with that being said, it's 4 rounds of 20 work, 30 rest. One of the few times that we're kind of giving us more rest than we have a work. And the idea is, since it's a build, I say like that, we want to use that 20 seconds to lift heavier. So I want you to think of it like 4 sets of 6 or 4 sets of 8 for each of these. So using a weight that would be challenging for 6 to 8 if you can. Obviously, I know we're at home and stuff is harder to do, but that's kind of like the main concept of it. So definitely if you're not pushing yourself, it'll be potentially too easy. So make sure you're pushing yourself in whatever way you can. I feel like when we're at home, we kind of forced to use some intensity increasing techniques. Maybe if it's a weights ladder, you might have to go faster to get through more reps, or being explosive or whatever. We can do a harder version of something if it's, the weight's not heavy enough. But so with that, like I was saying, it's a big circuit of 8 exercises, and we are going 4 rounds, 20 work, 30 rest. So for the first exercise, we are doing kettlebell sumo deadlift. Okay, so all that is it's similar to a regular deadlift, except we are lining up with a wide stance. So I got my kettlebell, or I guess if you have dumbbells, you have a dumbbell in each hand between you. But what this is I'm going to get a wide stance. I'm going to angle my feet slightly out. And I'm hinging forward. I'm getting a slight, bend in my knee here. And then I'm standing up like this. So just a lot wider than normal. And what that would look like with dumbbells would be super similar. So here. All right. So like I was saying, wide stance. What the feeling of this feels like is like your feet are almost pressing into the ground, trying to act like they're pushing the floor apart for a sumo deadlift. Obviously, all the normal stuff for a deadlift, like back flat, core super tight. But in terms of what the legs are doing, it's going to feel like you're like trying to slide the floor apart. And so that's number 1. Second one is around the world. So that one is, if you can see me here. So you're in your push-up position. Around the world is just arm, leg. That's 1 time around the world. So you're just going around the world as many times as you can in 20 seconds. To make these harder, if you need to make them harder, it would be walking your hand out further, starting out further. The further out you start, the harder your core has to work the entire time. So that would be kind of the intensity increasing technique that if it's too easy for 20 seconds for you normally, do that and it'll make it a little harder. So that's 2. 3, get up, sit up. Hopefully I can do it with one of these. So we all probably know get up, sit up at this point, but here's where we're here. So I have my right knee up, my right arm up, and I am sitting up onto that arm, kind of rolling up into that, not using my arm with the weight to get like momentum. Sometimes if people aren't used to this motion, they'll kind of get their arm kind of like that to try to pull themselves up, but really try to initiate that with the core and with the leg kind of like pushing into this, coming up onto that arm. And you'll really only have time for about, it's like 3 to 4 on each side. So maybe start with 4 on one side, 4 on the other, and see if you have enough time to finish those. You'll have to be kind of keeping the pace up, but in terms of reps for that one, that'll roughly be what it shakes out to be. Then after that, we have lateral squats. So lateral squats, this is another hip dominant exercise. So kettlebell sumo deadlift was the first hip dominant one. This is another one where we're focusing on glutes, hamstrings. Typically, these ones is not as strong of a movement as the kettlebell sumo deadlift, but it typically is a little bit easier than say a lateral lunge. So what I mean, I'll show you. What I mean by that is, so for a lateral squat, we're still in that wide stance, similar to the sumo deadlift, but we're keeping one leg straight, coming to the side, and coming into the middle. How this is different from a lateral lunge is that we are not having to jump all the way up every time. So so that is harder to come out and come in like that. So my recommendation would be, if your weight is not heavy enough to make the lateral squats hard enough, you know, where our feet are planted, you know, if this is too easy with whatever weight you have, then I would recommend that you would try the lateral lunge version with that weight. Okay. Cool. Then after that, also another note with the lateral squat, really make sure that back leg, like say if this is my back leg, make sure this is staying straight when we're on the other side. If it's bent, that's how, see how this is bent right here? This is how people get like twinges in their knee, just knee pain, stuff like that. So make sure that back leg's staying straight. You'll keep your knee safe. Cool. Then following that, if that wasn't enough leg stuff for one day, we have a double racked kettlebell squat. Kind of our double rack squat, I'll just say, it doesn't have to be a kettlebell. I'm going to use dumbbells. So we're racked here. Try to rack your weights so that they're out in front of you a little bit. I don't know if you can see. I'm just out in front of myself a little bit, just so my core is active. If I have it resting against myself, it's kind of easy. But I'm trying to get a little bit of tension in my core, so I'm hovering it out maybe an inch or two from my body. And then I'm dropping down into that squat. Bracing my core really tight. That's kind of like the standout feature of like a double rack squat like that. When you're out in front, like that, you're really feeling it in your core. So bracing, squeezing your core extra tight during every rep is super important to keeping your back safe. And yeah, and it's just important for any squat in general to keep that back safe. So it's a good practice of that. Regressions for that are, if you have one heavy weight, you could hold it right here in the middle. But I think from what I remember, you guys, I think you might both have two weights, but either way, whatever would be challenging for you. Obviously I don't want it to be crushing you. So if you have two way too heavy weights, just use one, but cool. All right. Then after that, we have two isolation exercises. So the first one is dumbbell arm curls. So for that, these are fun. It's like we never get to do these, so it's so great. But you're just curling one in each hand. All right. So nothing fancy, just regular old bicep curls. Curling, trying not to, rock into it, trying to be nice and controlled like this, not like that. Okay. So literally just doing a weight that you can control. If you're only going to really have time, it's like 6 to 8 reps, like I was saying. So you can go fairly heavy compared to maybe what you're normally used to doing. Or if you're not used to doing something like test a weight, if you only get 4 reps and it's super hard, it's awesome. It's a build. That's what it's all about. So that'll be good. Second one, overhead extensions. This one's specifically for the triceps. So for these, it is over my head. I don't know if you can see, I'm kind of far back, but I'm weight straight over above my head. I'm extending back and it's sitting over just like this. Super simple one in terms of the execution of it. Not a new exercise, not a fancy exercise by any means, but it's a good one for working your tricep. If you have any kind of shoulder pain and that is no good for you, you can do tricep dips from the chair. I'll pull a chair on and show you what that is. I'm going to be doing the overhead ones. But, jeez, I bumped you guys over. All right, so yeah, if you have shoulder pain, sometimes these will do just fine for those as well. So just getting down as low as you feel comfortable with. And part of it's going to be, that'll be helpful would be maybe adjusting your grip, making sure that you're not like in like this, making sure that you're out sometimes helps a little bit more. But both are good. And if all else fails and neither of those work, do some tricep push-ups where your hands are narrow and you're pressing like that. So elbows are narrow, hands are narrow. That's another option for those. Sweet. All right. And then last, but certainly not least, we have single arm bent over row. And today I also gave people the option for a double arm row as well. But our double arm bent over row. So all that would be for single arm row would be, you have your, I'll get these other ones out of the way. So have my weight, I'll show you from the side, I'm bent over, back's nice and flat, and then throwing like that. You really, like I was saying, only have time for roughly 4 reps on each side. So if you don't have a weight that's that heavy to make four rows hard, then I would see if you can do one in each hand and do them both. Then you'd get maybe 8 reps total. But otherwise, that's a good option. If you need to for your back, you can support with your hand like this. Yeah, and so that's it. That's our pull for the day. Any questions on any of that before we start getting warmed up? No? Okay, cool. You good, Carl? Sweet. Awesome. Good. Perfect. All right. So let's get warmed up then. I will have us start here with our figure 4. Stretch it, we'll cross over our leg. We'll pull it through, we'll hold for 30 seconds. See if I can get the music started.
Powering on. Welcome to All Tech Land.
Man, it's hot back here. It's like humid or something. I don't know if the humidity snuck into the building or what. Whew. I know it's gonna be a hot one when I'm sweating after the not the warm up even. Oh my gosh, sweating after the demonstration. All right. 10 more seconds on this. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and switch. Switch sides. Oh my gosh. You hear me groaning like an old man today. Now that I'm a whopping 26 years old, have all these pains that come along with it. Just kidding. I know you're up high scoffing, laughing. Oh, doing great. 10 more seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, after that, we'll do alternating knee drops. So drop the inside of your knee to the ground, going back and forth, 10 on each side, trying to loosen the hips up a little bit, stretch out the legs, and stretch out the back. Now I get the music going. All right, once we're done with those, I'm going to have us do our 10 floor slides. So we'll be on the ground for this one. Back, sliding, I'll show you up like this, but we're sliding our hands up and over our head. So 10 floor slides like that. All right. Woo. All right, excellent. With those, then I'm gonna have us do some lateral squats here. Get that motion warmed up. So we'll do 5 of these on each side, nice and slow. Got you, feel tight. All right. Tight. Okay. After that, I'm gonna have us do some single leg hops. So we're on one foot, we'll do our lateral hops. We'll do 10 hops side to side on each foot, and then 10 hops forward and back. There we go. Woo, and then after those, we'll do 25 jumping jacks, and then we'll get started. Five. Good. All right. Good. All right, guys, we're gonna get started here. All right, so we're starting off with our kettlebell sumo deadlifts. Okay. And once we get started, we're just gonna keep rolling through it. All the circuits are just gonna kind of continue into the next one. So one to another, to another, to another. All right, we're starting here in 10. Set this up next to you here, so hopefully you can hear it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kettlebell sumo deadlifts. There you go, guys. 3, 2, 1. Rest. Yeah, it goes super fast, so we'll try our best to make sure we're in position for these and ready to go when the timer hits. I'll try to make sure I'm keeping on top of that too. All right, next is around the worlds. All right, 3, 2, 1. Around the world. Three, two, one. Rest. There we go. Good. Next is get up sit-ups.
Mi mente maldad, bebo para recordarte, y tú que me amas, pa' que pase a buscarte, quiero darte, como la última vez que hicimos, mami, quiero darte, yo quiero darte, bebé, quiero darte, bebé,
3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Puede ser que borracho un día vuelva y te ve. Ojalá y terminemos como la última vez. Que sea quien te enamore y que no me vuelva a ver. Asesina, yo sé que tú eres mala. Por eso salen cautivarla. Chambeaste en el asat y terminaste.
All right, next lateral squats.
Tú te haces la loca inteligente. Como me conoces, vuela con mi mente. Todo el mundo en la pata que tiene otra de frente. De nacimiento una demente.
I remember on these, if you need to do the lateral lunge to make it harder, go ahead and do that.
Así como un Lambo te zumba el veneno. Dame yo te hice te aplico el freno. Sí, tú no vas a cambiar. A ti te gusta el peligro y así te va a quedar. Tú eres un problema serio, porque no tienes corazón, ya estamos en el cementerio. No la gastas son los intermedios, que si salen del medio, siempre más contigo, más allá criterio. Tú sabes que no tengo mucho, pero tengo más.
All right, double rack squat.
Cuando suba la nota, porque otro lo que yo te creo. Ese tipo te tiene aborrecido. Tú dices que estás confundida. Te peleé de noche y te peleé de día, pero tú eres masoquista porque sigues ahí metida. Yo te voy a dar duro por crecer.
All right, we're starting here in 5.
Pégate para darte una barriga cuando llegue el otro día. Puede ser que borracho un día vuelva y te dé. Ojalá y terminemos como la última vez. Que sea quien te enamore y que no la vaya a ver.
There we go. All right, next is arm curls coming up next. All right. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
a la mujer, te lo voy a volver a meter. Sé que ella rica se ve. Yo sé que mi borracho no te tocaré.
There we go. Good. Next is overhead extensions, dips, or close grip push-ups. Whichever one you're doing. Here we go.
Entre esa pierna tú tienes poder, eso sigo aquí aunque pelee. Siente que no se puede, no voy a negar que la clave la tiene, pero peleando hasta 50 y 0 lo ojalá se repita, yo quiero una probadita. Recordemos bebecita, como el agua en mis canciones con la grita, como una pisonita, ese beso te que amerita, más puedo olvidar tu forma de besar.
Excellent. All right, last one here. Got our bent over rows.
Recordemos cómo es que lo hacíamos, pero no olvidemos cómo nos comíamos, bebé.
Remember to use that hand if you need help with your back. 3. All right, here we go. Halfway. Here we go, rest. All right. That's one time through. Starting back with our sumo deadlifts.
La Universidad de Género, ¿viste?
All right. Sumo deadlifts. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
¿Cómo le puedo hacer para convencer? Que a solas quiero tenerte. Que tú eres mi testigo, mi fantasía contigo. Susurras en el oído, te comienzas a calentar. Tú me dices y no vamos, que nosotros quedamos. Si los dos nos gustamos y la mirada no lo pueden negar.
to make it harder. Heading out farther. Do these. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Rest. There we go. Not so bad. All right, get up, sit-ups.
Las cosas que pasan por mi mente.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
El proceso, tú traes subir, dame tu peso, que son hechos para mí. Yo calentándote, tú calentándome. Tú dices que tú eres, pero a veces lo quiero ver. El proceso, tú traes subir, dame tu peso, que son hechos para mí. Sigue bailándome, sigue quitándome. Yo te voy a dar duro contra la pared.
All right. After that, it should be lateral squats or lateral lunges. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Make sure you're hinging. Make sure you're loading your glutes and hamstrings on these. Rest. All right. Should be double rack squat next. I'm still sweating. Even though the rest time is easy. All right.
Tú puedes tener a quien quieras.
3, 2, here we go.
Tu corazón anda ciegas. Baby, tu cuerpo me llama. Siempre me dejas con ganas. Baby, por ese cuerpo yo te aguanto mis peleas. Quiero pensar que a otro le meneas. Ese botín con el que rompe la calle cuando
all right, then curls.
Lo poti, baby, por ese cuerpo yo te aguanto mis peleas. No quiero pensar que a otro le meneas.
Start curling early. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Try not to waste too much time at the top and at the bottom. Try to be somewhere in the middle as long as you can. And rest. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Por ese cuerpo yo te aguanto mil peleas. Quiero pensar como a otro le maneas. Se botín con el que rompe la calle cuando tú te echas lo puti.
All right. Next will be a rows. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Oh, all right, back to the beginning. All right. Sumo deadlift. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Three, two, one. Rest.
Una llamada para decirte que
All right, around the world.
yo no sé a quién engaño. Si mi almohada sabe que toda la noche yo te necesito, me tienes loquito a mí, no me dejes solo. Baby, tú vales más que el oro. Tengo todo por ti, lo que sea por ti.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Solito, no tengo a nadie, estoy solo. Solito, solito, no tengo a nadie, estoy solo.
3, 2, 1. There we go, rest. Then get up, sit up. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Solito, no tengo a nadie, estoy solo.
3, 2, 1. Rest and rest.
No tengo a nadie, estoy solo.
All right.
Yo quiero seguir
Lateral squats, more lunges.
como aquella noche en reina, y yo te daba. Ya lo vivo con mi me gritaba. Eso te gustaba y te encantaba. Que la cama te enamoraba, nena. Viva por
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
I won't give up on you and you won't give up on me. Na 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 na. Whatever you do, I'm still your baby.
3, 2, 1, and done. All right, double rack squat.
Noche yo no pude evitar salir a trago si la puse mal. Yo no sabía que se me iba a pasar. Yo quería darte, ponerte de parte. Tú sabes que me gusta, baby. A mi corazón.
3, 2, 1, go.
And my heart beats you like crazy. Hoy sigo aguantando todo, porque no estás cerca a mí. I won't give up on you and you won't give up on me. No, 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 no.
3, 2, 1, rest.
Whatever you do, I'm asking you, don't leave me.
All right. Next is curls. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Let's go. Después de 3 canciones seguía, analizando la movida. No sale si está de día, quiere hablar y su estilo de vida. No le gustan principiantes, que sean calle pero elegante. Peleamos hasta que tú y yo no aguante. Yo pedí un trago y ella la botella.
Overhead extensions.
La usa siempre que estoy con ella. Oh yeah, hazle caso si no te estrellas. Oh, qué problema, culpa de ella.
5-second warning.
3, 2,
Here we go.
pa' que si no rebote, pide whisky pa' que se agote. Si lo prendes, pide que rote. Bailando si vas a hacer que no bote. Nena, seguro que llega fuiste la primera. En la cama siempre tú te exageras. Si te quieres ir, pues nos vamos tú lo quieras. Seguro que llega fuiste la
Here we go.
primera. En la cama siempre tú te exageras.
All right, and then a rose.
Yo pedí un trago y ella la botella. La usa siempre que estoy con ella. Oh yeah.
All right. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rose.
La usa siempre que estoy con ella. Oh yeah. Hazle caso si no te estrellas. Qué problema, culpa de ella. Yo pedí un trago y ella me robó. También dijo, se me jaló, por cuanto me llevó. De lo que hicimos no me acuerdo. Y pasarme loco sí que soy experto. Me tienes soñando despierto, volando sin aeropuerto. Por cosas de la vida terminé echando bebidas en tu cuerpo.
Alright.
Seguro que llega tu
Last time with 2 more deadlifts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo pedí un trago y ella la botella. La usa siempre que estoy con ella. Oh yeah. Hazle caso si no
Pushing
te
the floor apart.
Rest.
All right. Around the world.
Yeah. Estamos rompiendo, muchachos. Y seguimos rompiendo. Global.
If they've been easy, you can start early. There's 10 seconds till we start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Si tuviera $1 cada vez que tú me dices que me amas, estaría tomándote con la reina Isabel. No
Try to keep those hips level.
palabras, no vale nada.
2,
Tienes
1. Rest. There we go. Good job. Get up, sit-ups.
Tengo entrenado el corazón y tus promesas no me llaman la atención. Me dicen lo mismo a las que se te atraviesan. Algo que no se doblado nunca se endereza. No puedes tenerme, no soy una de esas y eso te jode la cabeza. Si tuviera $1 cada vez que tú me dices que me
3,
amas,
2,
estaría tomando
1.
con la reina Isabel. No pago mi renta con palabras, no vale nada. Si tuviera $1 cada vez que tú me dices que me amas,
Halfway.
estaría tomándote con la reina Isabel. No pago mi renta con palabras, no vale nada.
Si te pagaran por cada vez que te daran, ya tú fueras
There we go.
millonaria. Tu rutina diaria será ignorar todos los pavos que te van por la
All right, lateral squats and lateral lunges. Choice is yours.
Ella no te ama, no contesta, no uso que se separó de su novio y el internet se cayó. Le tiran hasta los que no hablan español. Yo sé que hay muchos en fin.
5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Siempre por mi mente desfila, no hay otra parecida, que tú eres única. La foto viral la que la hace pública. Vámonos de vacaciones para la república. Con una como tú en el que quieres tú, y al pueblo llamo tú.
3, 2, 1, rest. There we go. All right. Ooh. Double rack squat.
No pago mi renta con palabras, no vale nada. No me pongas esa cara, con esos ojitos no me vas a convencer.
All right, 10-second warning.
Es caro, si lo quieres tú tienes que trabajar por él.
All right.
Si te digo que me baje de
Here you
100,
go.
me lo baje en 100. Te digo que no me pega tan mal, nunca lo siento mal. Sé que se hacen las cosas, esta muchacha, que una acción y me lo bla bla. Si tuviera $1 cada vez que tú me dices que me amas, estaría tomando con la reina Isabel. No pago mi renta con palabras, no vale nada. Si tuviera $1 cada vez que tú me dices que me amas,
Girls will be next.
estaría tomando con la reina Isabel. No pago mi renta con palabras, no vale nada.
All right. 10-second warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
No lo trates, no.
Nothing, Natasha.
No me trates de engañar.
Mr. Worldwide, that's right.
Sé que tú tienes a otra.
Mami.
3, 2, 1, rest. Rest.
Dale, Yankee. Contigo he sido real, fabricando un caso es ilegal, ese crimen me lo fumó. Contigo me voy a quemar, no estoy a la memoria, pero tú eres lo
Almost there.
no porque ninguna hable, estoy en nivel si no le da cable, no me arriesgo limpio, soy culpable. Hey, yeah. Yo vivo a mi manera.
All right. 5-second warning. 3, 2, 1, go.
Sé que tú tienes a otra. Y a mí me quieres para mí.
3, 2, 1, rest.
Bing, 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 bang, yo no quiero tu amor, I just wanna really good time. Bing, 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 bang, yo no quiero jugar con tu amor, I feel so y de buena ley. Aquí no hay jueguitos, hablamos clarito.
All right, Rose, to finish it off, keep your core real tight, be safe. Last one of the day. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Sé que tú tienes a otra. Y a mí me quieres para mí.
3, 2, 1, done. Good job, guys. All right. And that is it. Great work. Whew. Well, thanks for signing on. I hope you guys got a great build. Hope you challenge yourself.